Hi guys, very good morning to you. This is the video number 227 and in this video we are going to learn that how to export the attachments from Outlook. Okay, you can export them in any of your drive, any of your path, C drive, D drive, E drive, or on the desktop, whatever path you have, and also having a condition that they are coming from the specific sender. So this is the video number 227 and before I just start with this VBA code, I want to give you the good explanation how this actually, the idea basically have got. So a couple of days back, one of my subscribers, Madheshwaran, has written me after watching a couple of videos on the Outlook that hi sir, how to automatically export Excel attachments in Outlook to the particular location like D drive whenever attachment comes from a particular ID. Okay, so now in this case actually the question is that, let me just first open my Outlook guys and then I'll tell you, because this is going to be my first video on the Outlook VBA. We are going to build the code itself in the Outlook, not in the Excel. Remember that that is the important, that is a unique thing. Now if you're wondering that even the Outlook VBA exists, then yes, we have a MS Word VBA, we have a MS Excel VBA, we have a MS Access VBA. You know that, right? Because in my channel you would see all the programming, the VBA on the MS Access and MS Excel, right? But PowerPoint also have its own VBA, and similarly Outlook also has its own VBA. Now why I'm talking about the Outlook, because the point is, now subscriber said that he wants to automatically run the code without waiting for the user input, without waiting for the user click, that whenever we have got any email in our inbox containing any attachment, automatically that the macro should trigger. Of course we need to see that who is going to send that email. So if it is coming from specific ID which we want to target, then immediately it just runs the code and export the files in the folder, in the path, right? So in this case in Excel it is going to be very difficult, because in Excel you will have to operate it every time, you will have to run it. How you are going to make sure that your email comes in the inbox and then you got to run this macro? So obviously every time you will have to go to the Excel, right? So in this case we are going to develop our code in the Outlook itself. So I'm using this Outlook 2016, and if you're using Outlook 2007, 2010 or 2013, the code works the same way, guys. Okay, so first thing which you need to do is you need to on this developer tab. If you don't see this developer tab, generally you will not see this developer tab, because in Outlook we hardly make any codes. So just go to the file and the option, and in the option, if you're using 2010 or 2013, you just need to click here on the customize ribbon, and just please ensure that this developer tab should be checked. Okay, so for me it was like this, but I have just checked it, and now what happens, the moment you make it check mark, this will appear here in the developer tab, and through this we can make the program Visual Basic, right? If you don't want to use that, then you can also use the Alt F11 shortcut key, which is to go to the Visual Basic window. So I just click on that. Now I want to tell you what exactly we are going to do here. Now how you're going to ensure that every time the email comes from any ID, let's say from my ID, my Outlook ID is ajay.parmar1981@outlook.com. by the way, you can also email me any of your queries if you need, right? This is my Outlook email ID. Now let's say I want to say that whenever I get the email from this ID, just to show you, because right now I'm going to use this ID only. So if I get any email from this ID, then if it has an attachment, then immediately run the the macro. So we have some event, right? You must be knowing about the VBA events, Excel events, which runs automatically, which triggers automatically, and they are basically on the condition based events. If you haven't if you don't have any information about it, then no problem. In my in our this basically the channel, if you go to the video manager and you go to the playlist, you would find here 226 videos so far we have uploaded on Excel VBA, Access and Access VBA. So just find it out here. There is a category called Excel VBA events. Just go there and you will be able to understand. But anyways, if you don't have to go right away, just you can watch this and this is going to give you a good understanding. Now before I do that, I'll just tell you that the entire code we are going to prepare not in the module. We are not going to prepare the module, because module is something that you will have to run it. We want this a precondition macro, right? So what we are going to do, guys, use this Outlook session. click on this, and this is the kind of the window you would see. Just give me a second. Yeah, this is your Outlook window. And now in this Outlook session, what you need to do, you just need to select application, and in the application you see that automatically some code will drop, but we will see that what exactly we want to do. Now do you want to run this application, this code, when you send something? You see that this is for this. Obviously we don't need that, so I'm just going to delete it. Now what we want that whenever a new email comes, so if a new email comes, then you have to select your application back, and here these are called all the events. So these are the events which we are going to make use of. So I'm going to select that on every new mail. Just select that, and this is what exactly we are going to do. Application underscore new mail. So that means that anytime if I get any new email, okay, then what will happen, this macro will run. So it is not going to wait for you. It keeps on running in the backend, right? Every time the email comes, the new email comes, I mean to say, right? So let's first now go ahead and prepare the code. So what do we actually require here? There are a couple of things which we need to know here. First of all, if you know the Outlook hierarchy, in the Outlook hierarchy, let me just show you. Let me just explain it to you. Let's just have the Excel open. Okay, now you see when you work in the Outlook, basically you have the different the classes, objects you can use. The bigger object is itself Outlook. Outlook is the application which comes in the top. After the Outlook, there is a class called namespace, right? Now namespace class we use to deal with the folders. Okay, you can declare the folder names using this namespace class, and obviously we will have to use this class because we are going to tell that the rule is going to be applicable on this inbox, right, not any other folder. And what is the next thing? There is another class called the mail item. Okay, now this mail item is responsible for the emails. Now we don't want to write any email, but at the same time while receiving the emails we want to ensure that if they have the attachments, then just pull out those attachments and send them to the folder. So obviously attachment is another class which we are going to use. So it is going to be a combination of Outlook namespace and mail item and attachment. And of course we are going to use the collection loop as well, which is going to be for each attachment in the email items. So we're going to build this code anyways. You can also go ahead and watch the video. I think the video number 92 we have uploaded a lot of videos on the Outlook. For example, I'll just show you here. You can scroll it down, and Excel VBA connecting Outlook. Yeah, there we go. So we have got 12 videos here, and trust me, if you watch all these videos you will have a fair enough understanding that how we actually control the Outlook from the Excel. But this time this is a unique video because here we are not going to work on the Excel directly. We are writing the code in the Outlook, and we are going to use the Outlook VBA. Alright, so here I also have a video how to save the email attachments on the desktop. The same we are going to use almost the same code, but this time we are going to use in the Outlook, not in the Excel. So let's go ahead and let us start this. So the first thing which I'm going to do is that I'm going to declare my this mail object. So I'm going to just write omail as outlook.mail item, right? And the next thing which I want to do here is I want to set my omail equals to, this is how you set up your mail items. Mail item, I told you that the class, it's a class which actually from where we can send the emails and can receive the emails, right? So this is how we write. So I'm going to write here set our omail equals to outlook.create item, and then you choose that omail item, right? This is the thing. Okay, now before that, one more thing, important thing you need to do is that which folder basically we are going to deal with. So obviously I'm going to target on my inbox. Okay, so what I will do, I will declare one more variable, let's say o namespace as outlook.namespace, and then you set the word o namespace equals to, then you got to write here Outlook, which is your bigger application, get namespace, and you will write MIPI. Okay, this is a word you need to write. Now this is responsible for your folders. With the help of this MIPI, we can access all the folders. We can define the folders basically. I'll tell you how. Suppose now let me declare here dim my folder as outlook.folder and set my folder equals to, now look at this, I'm using the own namespace class, okay, which I have already declared on the top, and that is why I had to declare it, because this gives me the method called get default folder, right? So if I will not declare these two lines, then I will not be able to use this own namespace dot get default folder, because get default folder is a method which is associated with the namespace class only, and that is why you will have to declare them, you know, using these variables. So what is your folder name? You know that this is your inbox folder, so you can also declare here, you know, OL folder draft also, or any other folder you want to declare it, right? I have already uploaded a lot of videos on that, even on the subfolders also. For example, if you have some folder within the inbox also, then also you can do that. You just go ahead and watch the videos, the playlist, you know, which I was telling you. Now so far we have done all the things. One more thing which you need to do is that because we need to work on the attachment, so I'm going to declare this Outlook attachment, because every email is going to have attachment. Not every, but you know, maybe any email can have the attachment. That is the purpose, that we want to you know, pull out those attachments and we want to save them in the E drive. I'm going to save them in the E drive. So now what is the first thing? Now your lines are completed, we have done everything. So now here I'm going to run the loop. So in the loop, what I will say, I want to loop through, you know, all the mails coming in this area in the inbox whenever any new email falls. So we are going to say that for every email in the folder called inbox, right? So how are you going to write? You're going to write for each mail, which is your email, because I told you that this is responsible for the emails, sending out the emails or, you know, receiving the emails. That is why we declare this class. So we are saying that for each email in your folder, what is your folder? Your folder name is my folder, right, which is inbox folder items, okay? And then don't forget to write the invert. This is a collection loop which we are writing. Now what will happen, this will run through all the emails coming in your inbox. Remember, only in the inbox. We are not going to target any other folder, right, because we have declared here that this is going to be the inbox folder. Now so for every email which comes, if the sender is, let's say, ajay.parmar1981@outlook.com, so you put the condition here, okay, for omail.sender email address equals to, I'm going to write here my email ID, because I'm going to send a couple of test mails from here. This one at 1981@outlook.com. If this is the case, then what we are supposed to do, if this is the case, then let me just put the double quotes as well here. Then obviously we need to extract that. We need to find it out that whether that email has any attachment or not. So here you're going to run another loop for each attachment in that email dot attachment next, okay? So if the attachment is coming, then we want that should be saved as in the path called E drive. This is how you write, guys, right? ATMT, remember, it's my attachment, right? And save as file is a method which automatically comes with the attachment class, right? So we are basically trying to use the methods associated with different classes. To be a good programmer, you should be knowing that you know, whenever you work on the application, whether it is the Outlook application, PowerPoint application, or Excel application, what basically the classes you're supposed to use to achieve that task, right? So now what we're going to do is I'm going to save this in the E drive, and with the name, the file, of course, the file, whatever the name I have for that file, and you see that this is called the property, because it tells us about the object, right? So that is the difference between a method and a property. Method, this is a save as file, this is going to do some action, and that's why, you know, when you press dot, you see that the sign of this is different from the sign of this. This is more of a, like, you know, a tilted button, right, kind of a biscuit, right? So this means that this is a method, this will do some action, whereas this having this envelope kind of a sign, a hand, this says that this is the property means a kind of, you can say that it tells you about the object, right? It tells you about its name or the other things as well, whether something is visible, something is not visible, what is the color of that. For example, in the Excel sheet, you have a yellow color, black color, you have a grid lines, or you don't have a grid lines. These are all basically called the properties. Okay, so now we are going to save this file, and I believe if the sender name is not Ajay.Parmar, then we will write here else and if do nothing. Obviously we don't want to target all the the IDs. We want to target only the specific IDs. Okay, so I believe that we are through with this, and let me also show you my E drive. You can see here there is no Excel or any document apart from this database, right? So let's go back to the code, and let me do one thing to show you that how this is going to work. Let us put the break code here, so that whenever the new mail comes, I want to show you that how the entire code is going to trigger itself. Okay, all right, so now let us go ahead in the home, and I'm going to send some email, and I'm going to send the email from my ID only and to my own ID. I'll write the subject called hello, and let's attach the file as well. So let's say any file I can attach. Maybe let's say I attach this resume. I'm gonna send this file. All right, now this file I have sent it out. Let me wait for this. Basically this Outlook actually it works a little slow. Just actually recently installed it, so you will have to wait here for maybe 20-30 seconds, right? So just be there with me. The moment the email comes on this window, right, the moment the email comes on this window, this macro should automatically be triggered. It should not wait for us, because we have written this macro in the event called application_new mail. This is what exactly I want to tell you, right? So in this case, every time the email comes to this inbox, let me just first click on the update folder as well. Maybe that is going to refresh the things. So whenever the email is going to come on this inbox, okay, automatically the code will run. Right now I have put the break code on that. That this is a break code basically, right? Because I want to show you that how the code is going to run. But the next time when we are going to test it successfully, when we are going to test it, we will remove the break code, because user should not be able to know even that this is something is happening. So every time if you put the break code, every time he's going to be given a prompt, the macro stops there. So we don't want that the macro should stop. It keeps on running silently, right? Silent, I mean in the sense that he should not be able to see that there is anything happening behind the this Outlook. So let us just wait. The email takes a little time, but I'm just going to refresh it. Oh, there we go, guys. You see that? So I got the email, but the email came in this draft because I have done some settings. Actually, I will remove that. Whenever this email comes from my ID, it goes to the draft. So the important point which you need to understand is this: the macro is triggered. Right now the macro is triggered, but it will do nothing if you run this. Look at this. You see that it did not do anything. Why? Because you said that it is going to look after the folder called OL folder inbox, right, which is the inbox folder. So I did some changes here. I'm just going to tell you that this is an additional information actually I wanted to give you, and I'll give you later. But first of all, let me just remove my this the rule which I have applied. Let's go to the rules, manage rules. So I am just going to delete this rule, delete rule, right? So now the next time when I'm going to run this code, let me just send this file again, and let's just delete this. Go to the new mail. Actually moved from my inbox to the draft because I applied the rule there. Okay, so now this time it should not. Let's say test1, and going to attach the file, this one, let's say. I'm going to send this email. Right now it is going to take some time, so I'm just pausing the video because I really don't want you to wait for maybe for 20-30 seconds. So just be there. I'm just going to come back. Okay, there we go. You see that the email has just come and this macro is going to now run. Right, I can show you. Just look at this in the inbox. I got the email, the one I sent out, and automatically this macro is going to run. So now the moment this is going to run, it is going to capture the folder which is inbox, which is my inbox folders. Let me, by the way, just shrink it a little. Yeah, so now we are going to run this. Now look at this. Previously this entire line did not run, and the moment we got on the for each, the macro immediately stopped. The reason is because we didn't have any email in the inbox. The moment my email arrived in the inbox, it immediately went to the the draft folder. But now I have just deleted the rule, so it is staying in the inbox, and that is why I'm able to capture it. Now you know that the sender name is ajay.parmar@1981@outlook.com, which is of course my ID, right? And this is what exactly it says also. This is the sender email. So if this condition is going to satisfy, right, then what will happen the next time, I would go to this for each attachment and folder. So it did not do that, and that is very strange. So let me just check the spellings. It's ajay.parmar. Oh, my mistake, I'm so sorry. Actually I have used this @ 2 times. That's very bad. Let me just pull it back here, and now let us just run this. All right, so there we go. Look at this now. The email matched, the sender email matched, and now here it is going to run that for each attachment in the email attachments, which means that it is going to run the loop in all the emails here in the inbox, and it is going to find that which all emails has the attachment. You know that we are using this attachment, and the name of the attachment is, let me just open it, it's resume.doc. It's a Word actually file, right? So for each attachment, now this is going to save the file. Look at the file name also. You can see here that atmt.filename has captured my attached file name as well. Wonderful. So this is going to save in the E drive. So let's go ahead, and now there is no other email, so obviously this macro should stop, and there we go. As expected, the macro is stopped. So let me take you to the E drive, and there we go, guys. You see that the file is already there, right? So let me delete this again, and let's do this now, testing again. So let's just send let me just send one more email on this, and then let's see what is going to happen. Is it going to work on the 2 emails, the multiple emails as well? So I'm going to write here again test2. Okay, and this time let us attach something. Maybe let's say, yeah, 1.txt. so one is a text file, and another is, you already know that it is going to be your doc, right? So again, let us just wait for this. The moment the email arrives, the macro should run. So let's just there we go. So you see that the email just popped up on my screen. You can see here that's the test2 email, and now let us run the loop and let us see that how it is going to deal with this. Now obviously both the emails are from my ID, so this should satisfy this. So it goes in the then mode, and now we have this resume.doc, which is a Word document. It should now save in the E drive. All right, there we go. And the next, now there is one more email it should check, and as expected, you see that this time it did not go to the end sub, right? Because we have got 2 emails actually, test1 and test2. So in this email, now let's have a look again. That email is again from the same ID, so this time you see that it is 1.txt. That's the latest email which I have actually sent. So now this is the last, and now it should go to the end sub, and as expected, your code actually worked perfect. So let's have a look on the E drive. And so we have got the resume, we have got the one, so both the files are there, right? So in this way, now you can remove the breakcode. As you see that I have just clicked back here and I removed the breakcode from here, and now this code keeps on working every time the new email comes, right? But I would suggest you one thing. This is fine as long as you don't really keep much of the emails in your inbox, right? For example, if you're somebody who receives a lot of emails, right? Maybe like when I used to work, then I used to keep like there were thousands of emails every time they remained on my inbox, and especially on the weekends like Saturday and Sunday, right? So guys, it doesn't really going to make any sense that you should run this code over all these 1000 2000 emails every day, every time whenever you get the email. So whenever you receive one email, it means that the loop is going to run on your entire inbox. So that can be a challenge, that cannot be a challenge. That really it's a I'm leaving it to you. That's your choice. How do you want to do that? Because if the loop is going to run these many times, it may happen that for maybe few seconds your Outlook will go in that VBA code mode, and you feel like that you will not be able to do anything, because macro is going to run. So maybe it can create a problem for you and it may irritate you. So I think the better way, if you're somebody who receives so many emails every now and then I would suggest you that instead of running this here, okay, instead of running this here, you can do one thing. You can simply make a rule that go to whenever you receive any file from this sender. For example, let's just go to the home, and here in the rules category, now I'm using Outlook 2016, so whichever version you are using, I think these settings generally don't change, but you can again do some research on that. You can Google or maybe ask somebody. These are very general rules which one is supposed to know when you actually work on the Outlook. So just create a rule here, and in the rule you just say that whenever you get the email from which ID. So I'm going to say that whenever I get the email from Ajay, this Parmar, which is my Outlook ID, and the subject contains, well, subject really doesn't matter, any subject, right? So move the item to the folder. Which folder basically you want to, just select the folder and just use the option. Let's say I'm going to use this draft option, so I just select OK, and now I press OK, and the rule Ajay has been created. Run this rule now on messages already in the current folder. If you want to apply this rule on the existing emails, you can do that. Let me just press OK, and there we go. Look at this, guys, the emails automatically move to the draft. So now what happens, the next time when any email comes from Ajay Parmar ID, it automatically goes to the draft folder. So what you can do, this is going to filter your emails. If you're somebody who receives 100 200 emails every day, right, and out of those 100 200 emails you receive the email from Ajay Parmar, let's say maybe 3 or 4 emails, 10 emails or whatever, right? So automatically what will happen, your emails will keep on compiling on this folder draft, right? And once they are going to compile on the draft folder, then what you can do, maybe after every 15 minutes or maybe after an hour, or maybe before you leave your work, you are done for the day, and just before you leave your office, then you can run this. You can run this code, but in that case you have to write this code not in this. You need to cut this, because then we don't want this, that every time the new email comes, then you will have to write this in the module, right? Insert and module. This module will be created, and there you can write the entire code, right? Obviously I will have to write here sub name, so give any name. Anyways, I'm just writing here D, and so this is a standard mode. This is not going to run automatically. This requires your intervention. Okay, so let's say I work 8 to 5 p.m. and so while leaving, while I'm done, I'm just leaving the office, maybe just 15 minutes back, I can do one thing. I can simply just come here in the VBA and I can run this, and automatically whatever the emails I will have I would have collected for the day, they are going to be action. So in this case you just need to change this to this one, the draft one, right? So if you want to create any subfolder, that is also all up to you. I'm just telling you all the options, right? In case of the subfolder, you will have to find that how to write how to specify basically the subfolders in the folder if you have, right, those subfolders. So just watch the videos here and you will be able to understand it, right? I think that's the video, how to create the folders in the Outlook. Or maybe there is some another email, I really don't remember exactly, but you know, it's very simple. Basically what you need to do is, when you declare the folders like this, for example, I'm going to write here this OL inbox, and in the inbox I've created one folder. So you just need to write here folders and just write the folder name. Suppose there is a folder name called dummy, so you just write it like this. So what will happen now, this is going to work on your subfolder, which is going to be created here. So if I click new folder, right, and I can create here dummy1. So now this is a dummy is my folder which is inserted in the inbox, and this is how you declare actually. So there is no limit to it. I mean, it's not that you can always create the rules on the, you can create these you can connect these VBA codes only with the default folders like inbox or maybe draft. No, you can further go ahead and you can create your own folders as well in the Outlook, and then further you can write in the VBA as well how to connect that. So both the options are with you. If you're somebody who doesn't really receive so many emails, then I guess this code is fine. You can just write it here in the application _new email. Every time the new email comes, it checks that this is the ID. If this is the ID, just run the code and export all the files from those emails. If you're somebody who receives emails lot and there are other emails also, because every time as we talked about this, it is going to be a specific sender name, so we really don't need to export the files coming out from the other senders. So I would say that why don't you first make the rule that from this sender, in the home, just make the rule, and in the rule just simply say that where exactly you want to move them. And once you have moved them, so before you leave the office, just run it in one go, and all the stuff will be exported. So both the options are there for you, right? So I hope you enjoyed this VBA code, and thank you so much once again for your wonderful question. And indeed we have made this code for the first time in the Outlook, and credit goes to you, dear subscriber. So I will be back with some more exciting stuff. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, guys, as always, you know what I'm gonna say. Just subscribe to the channel and watch all those amazing 226 videos. Thank you so much. I'm signing off. Bye bye.